Sup peeps, my name's Ian, I sell books on eBay, and I've got a question for you. Do your local charity thrift op shops sell all their good stuff on eBay before you can? Have a think about it. Comments below. But first, let's have a look at some orders. We've got a dozen orders going out today. As usual, a nice wee mix, a couple of quite nice wee sales in amongst it, some big bundles and some individual items. So we'll just have a wee look, see what's going out the door and what you might be able to find and sell yourself. So first we have a DVD. Constantine, Mr. Keanu Reeves from, is this the 90s? 2005? No, it's not quite the 90s. I thought it was older than that, but it's not. And that sold for £6.49. So it's amazing what you can get for a 10p pickup from the charity shops. They didn't sell that one on eBay, did they? Next, I have a bundle of 8 James Patterson. So a nice selection of paperbacks there, some Alex Cross, some Women's Murder Club. The 8 of them sold for a grand total of £18.79. So that's part of my new way of structuring some of my listings. I've got rid of the buy 3 get 2 free and just made the books cheaper. So they're £1.85 plus £3.99 postage, and for 8 of them that's come in at £18.79. £6 in postage in that, obviously, so it's still a nice kind of £10 to £13 sale, if that makes sense. Next, we've got a nice wee individual book, another Warhammer. This one is Witchfinder, one of the lot I picked up the other day. It does have a wee bit of wear in the corner, listed, showing all the damage to it, all the issues with it, but still that sold for £10. So Warhammer, if you see them in the wild, pick them up. I've been really lucky with Warhammer books over the last few weeks. A couple of different places I found a nice wee collection of them, and yesterday I picked up just one all by itself. Anyway, next order, another bundle, Captain Underpants books. Is it 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books, 1 to 5, Captain Underpants, and they sold for £13.74. That is with the buy 3 get 2 free offer. Right, one more order, and then I want to ask you a bit more about the whole eBay thing. So this is another lot of DVDs. Disney this time, 10 Disney DVDs. It's buy 5 get 5 free, and they're £2 each, so that's £10 plus postage, £13.99 for 10 DVDs, and I buy them for 10p each, so that's £1 into a tenner, which even after fees wasn't a promoted listing, so that's quite nice. Even after fees and all these things, it's still a good deal. So today's big question: do your local charity shops, op shops, thrift stores, whatever they may be, do they sell all the good stuff on eBay rather than putting it out on the shelves? Should they sell all the good stuff on eBay before putting it out on the shelves? And do they get all the good stuff identified to put out on the shelves? So I've had a couple of comments about this, but also it's something that I see and hear when I'm out in the charity shops. One of the places I go, they go through nearly everything that comes in, and anything that they recognise as having potential value, they'll look it up, and there's a threshold. I think it has to be £20 or more. So something that looks like it sells on eBay for 20 quid or more, they will pull it out and stick it up on eBay, or send it off to a centralised point which lists it all on eBay and deals with it from there. So there'll be some good stuff in there that is not going out on their shelves, and I've been thinking about it. I think, well, that's a pain, that's a shame, you don't get all of that stuff. But this one particular shop, it's a great shop, I love it, but I don't buy things from it other than their books. When I used to do, an everything reseller, they would have a nice pair of jeans that might sell for £20, £25 on eBay, but they would be asking a tenner for them. Jackets that might sell for 30, 40, 50 pounds, they'd be looking for 20 to 25 pounds on them. So even before they started sending as much as they do now off to eBay for the sales, they weren't worth buying from anyway, from that reseller point of view. So if an organisation has got the knowledge and the desire to price up items that are worth a wee bit more, then the chances are that you're not going to get much from them anyway that would turn a profit reselling. So you need to find the stuff that they don't look at and that they don't bother with particularly often. So one of the store I go into with books, they don't look very hard at a lot of the books that come in. If there's a nice box set or something like that, then they will price it up or they will check it. If it's something really obvious, like they had a big stack of Warhammer game guides, you know, the maps and the campaigns and the rest, and they had sent a couple of them off to eBay and they'd priced up the rest. They all sat in the shop for months and nobody was buying them for £5, £6, £10, because that might be what they sell for when you've got a marketplace of, you know, millions and millions of people looking for them. But when you're in a small town in the west of Scotland, your audience is very, very limited, and perhaps for the most part their type of customer isn't going to be interested in that type of item. So they sat for ages, were beginning to get a bit tatty, and finally I just made an offer for them and took the lot for, still gave them a good price, but a lot less than that they had been looking for, to try and move on, and they had sold none of them. So that was, it got that shifted for them, and worked out. They'd actually pulled them from the shelves because they weren't selling, and that's how I saw the opportunity to say, right, I'll give you a few quid, I'll make a few quid, you get your few quid, and you don't have to bin them. So that would all have been good. So I think, as I've just said, that if a store is savvy enough to be pricing up and looking for this, then the chances that you would have been able to buy those items for a good flip price in the store is slim anyway. There's plenty of other smaller charity shops. It tends to be the big chains that get in about that. Smaller shops where you will be able to go in and, you know, if it's a pair of jeans, they will have a pretty much set price for a pair of jeans. So it could be something from, be like George Asda, and they'll be selling them for £2 or £4, or it could be a nice pair of Levi's and they'll be selling them for £2 or £4. And it's finding those places where you'll be able to make money on absolutely everything going out. I say there's certain categories, certain items where they don't look very hard. DVDs and books are both within that sphere. There's so many different books, there's so many different movies out there, that the amount of time it would take to scan through and check out, say somebody's donated 200 DVDs, the time taken to go through all of that to find the one that's actually worth 10 or 20 quid, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it to really anyone. But if you build that knowledge, when you go in, you can see the stuff that is more likely to have that value, and that's the stuff you pick up. And if you're picking it up for, you know, a few of them, 10 of them, 3 of them, whatever it is, for £1, then you'll be able to make money on that side. Books, obviously the same. If there's stuff that you're familiar with that the shops might not be, and I mean that's the good example. It's a wee tatty paperback. These show up in the shelves all the time for very reasonable money. Well, not all the time, but often enough that you can turn that, you know, even if you're paying £1 for that, turning it into a tenner isn't a bad thing at all. I've got a cat trying to join me here. Hello, Hugo. No, he's just sitting there staring at me. He must want fed. It's been at least half an hour since he had food. One thing that does annoy me, there's a couple of shops I used to go to, and I noticed that by their door they always had big boxes with Music Magpie, Ziffit, all of these types of labels on them. And I just asked, have you got any other books? And the answer was, no, we put out everything that the manager doesn't want to send away to get money for. So those shops were going through all their book donations, doing the quick scan and papping them off to Ziffit, World of Books, We Buy Books, whichever app they're using at that point, which is a bit annoying because I got the impression from the way it was said that they weren't it wasn't the charity selling them on, it was a member of staff. In this case, they blamed the manager. I don't know if that's the case, but a member of staff is going through all of that stuff as it comes in and picking out the ones that they can make a quick flip on themselves. They're selling their books. In one store, they're selling their books 5 for £1. So if they find 20 books to send off for Ziffit and they're all worth more than 20 pence each, they're making a quick profit, and they're just going to have to buy those books from the business. So I found that a wee bit taxing, galling, annoying. I know other stores where something has to have been out on the shelves for a period of time before staff are allowed to purchase it. But you know, each to their own. People are volunteering, they're giving up their time. If they come across something nice, that's fair enough. If somebody's buying something for themselves, that's again fair enough. But using that as an opportunity to sneak in and get all the good stuff is a bit annoying, but fair play. I know there's a lot of people who do that and are very successful with that, and it's not that far removed from, you know, the approach I've had in trying to build good relationships with the charity shops, so that you sometimes get first sight of stuff that's just come in. So it's not really far different from that. So I'm not criticising it, I'm not complaining. I just find that a bit annoying because they're getting all the good stuff before I can. But that's it. So anyway, what happens in your area? Comment, let us know. Is this something that's becoming an issue? Do you think that's preventing you from being able to buy stuff to resell, or even buy stuff for yourself? Because that is the other issue. If all the good stuff is going straight off to eBay, then none of the good stuff is out in the shop for people to go in and actually buy. And will that have a detrimental effect on their local business? If all you can ever find is Asda jeans, why would you go looking? You know, if there's no chance of actually going in and finding something nice for still a reasonable price, why even bother? So yeah, that's the questions. Let us know what you think, and let's look at some more sales whilst we're here anyway. Yeah, right, next we have 7, and these are one of the ones that I bundled up and stored out by. It's Fighting Fantasy books 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8 and 14. If you find the vintage ones of these, which I have a couple of and have sold a couple of, and I think one went in one of my wee sales the other day to one of you lucky guys, they can go for 10, 20, 30 pounds each. These are modern editions, so they sell typically for kind of £3 to £4 each, nothing crazy in it. So I just stick them up as a lot, and they went for £16.99 for the bundle. But again, I've paid 25 pence a book, so that's less than £2, turning into £16.99. So yeah, I'm not going to complain about them not being worth a fortune, but it's another good series set, much like the Warhammer, that you want to keep your eyes open for. Fighting Fantasy, whether they're vintage or they're new, they do sell well. Another bundle. This time it is Darren Shan. Don't sell many of these, don't have many of these. I've got a couple of dozen maybe, but it's kind of kids horror. I've never read them, but we've got Beck, The Vampire's Assistant, Birth of a Killer. Spotting a theme here, aren't you? Wolf Island, I like that cover, and Death's Shadow. So the 5 of those, 2 wee hardcovers, 3 little paperbacks, sold for £12.64. Another nice wee sale. Right, a couple of individual books. This one, Red Dwarf Programme Guide, it sold for £6.84, so a pretty basic sale there. And the next one on its own is Gladiator, Son of Spartacus, Simon Scarrow. So it's not part of the Eagles of the Empire series. This is his kind of teen fiction. Marcus somebody or other. So he's done a wee series of Gladiator books, and then Pirata and a few others, but that went for £7.99, so it was £4 plus postage. Another single book. Again, I've had this a couple of months, but not too long. Queen of Bebop, The Musical Lives of Sarah Vaughan by Elaine M. Hayes. So it's one of these books that I picked it up. It's music related, so that's a topic, which means people may be interested in it. So I do tend to pick up music related books. Some of them are worth money, some of them just ain't. I had a big bundle of Rolling Stones, like coffee table books and all sorts. They were all worth £2 or £3 each. So rather than listing them up separately and them sitting for months on end, I've put them up as one big bundle. Started an auction at like a tenner, see if they'll just go that way. But this one went for £8.65, so that was a fiver. Plus, because it's a wee bit of an older listing, my postage was set at £3.65, so £8.65, but still a nice sale for an individual book. And that leaves us with one last order, which was... it's 3 C.S. Lewis books, the Cosmic Trilogy. They're brand new, all wrapped up, still in the seal. Let's see, I've never even heard of this before I found them, but they looked slightly intriguing, and I just stuck them up for £12, free postage, just to see if they would move quite quickly, and they did. That's taken a couple of weeks, and they've gone out the door for £12. So another not bad little sale. And that's everything we've got going out this morning. It is only 20 to 10, so there's another hour and a half almost for orders to come in that will go out in today's shipping. So I might get another order or two, who knows? Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But the total for that lot today was £128 and 12 pence. So a third to eBay, a third to Royal Mail, and a third in profit coming back this way, which means £42 maybe in profit coming back into the business. So still not making millions, but we're never going to make millions doing this. This is, although this is at the moment a big chunk of my income, you know, at the end of the month I need to take a wage, so this is a chunk of that just now. It is a part-time enterprise, so I would love to do this full time. I don't do this full time, so making £40 a day from it for 2 to 3 hours work, I'm more than happy with. I have been doing more hours than that recently, just to see if it can make a difference to overall sales. I've been trying to work like full 8-hour days, which I haven't done in a while, I'll be perfectly honest, but that's not just with this stuff. I do have a couple of other wee bits and pieces that I'll spend a couple of hours on, but that full 8 hours is picking and packing, making these videos, going out and doing a wee bit of sourcing, and a couple of other odds and ends. Also using some of that time to, you know, manage my inventory and make sure that things are in the right place and where they should be. Because I've had a couple of incidents lately where it's taken me 5-10 minutes to find something. You know, a book that I'm making 80 pence on, taking me 5-10 minutes to find, that ain't worth it. So I've been taking a bit of extra time to go through things and make sure stuff stays organised, and refining that process so that I can keep improving on it, and it'll make it quicker and quicker and easier to pick books. Having said that, most of the time it takes seconds to go and grab individual books, because I do know where everything is. It's just every now and again something's been shifted along when I've been taking something else out and then not put back, and slowly it gets buried and I have to go digging, which is frustrating, but you learn from these things and you improve your overall processes, which is what this has been a great exercise in doing, to be honest. Dealing in a niche such as books really lets you dig in and refine what your processes need to be as productive and profitable as possible. So it means that I know that I can make £40 a day in 2 to 3 hours focusing on this stuff. So it's possible to make quite easily £100 a day just working a normal day, which is still not an incredible wage or salary. I mean, it's below the median wage. I think median is about £42,000, 36 or 42, I can't remember which. So it's either bang on the median or it's a wee bit below the median, but it's still not bad for just going out and buying books and selling them on eBay. Yeah, and there's always the potential to improve process even further. Anyway, enough blethering from me. I will be really interested to know what you think about the whole charity shops selling stuff on eBay thing. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? It's right, I believe, that they should make as much money from their donations as possible, but does that have an impact on their local business if all the good stuff is just getting bumped straight off to eBay rather than even giving local people an opportunity to purchase it for eBay prices before they ship it on? Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments, and other than that, see ya, love you, bye.